still didn't have the codec yet. So I had to wait like 2 years to get the right codec. I put so much time and energy into it, and I haven't seen the movie in almost 20 years. Um, it just didn't hit, and I had to take the fact it didn't hit. But then I got a chance to direct again this movie called 100 Proof with this guy that I knew that used to work at a liquor store in Woodhaven. And I don't think the script I don't think was very good either, and the acting was, and it was not, the reason with the problem with it because it was about a guy who gets so upset working at a liquor store that he goes on a killing spree, which is like, I mean, you can go so many ways about it. I wanted to be like Clerks versus like Clerks meets Taxi Driver. That was like my idea, but the writing wasn't that strong, and the acting, and the problem with the acting was these guys are too young. I wanted like people in like their 40s in this, like not in their early 20s, because you couldn't really take their, even the alcoholics he had were still in their early 20s, and like you want an alcohol, I drink too much. I would have been fit right in there as like the main character, or at least one of the patrons. But he wanted to bring all his friends from San Francisco, where he went to school, and we housed them, and it was a big part of the budget was just keeping them housed and fed for like a month. So we could have had actors here, and they could have just came and went. We could have saved so much money and could have used much more for the budget, or like at least some rewrites, or I don't know. So that movie didn't do. That movie didn't do. It was called 100 Proof. That movie didn't do well either. And then I made a documentary about this guy who had a mural that was painted by Friedensreich Hundewasser. Look that up. Say that 3 times fast. That the synagogue was getting rid of, and he was going to restore it. And then he was basing his whole life on, because the mural was called Paradise, and he called the project Restoring Paradise. He wanted people to give him money in order to fix the mural, and then that mural would go on some world tour and like somehow help the world. Even though this mural was like 9 feet by like 10 feet by 30 feet. I forgot even. I have to watch the documentary again. And it was called Paradise Found, Paradise Lost. Like I reversed the whole thing with Dante and his Divine Comedy. Is that the one? I don't even know. The documentary was okay. It's like you have to watch it. Like it's, like every time I went to bat to work on a project, it's a lot to work on by yourself or even with people. The money, the budgeting, the time, and like even like, and these movies kind of were like half good, and you can't be half good. Yeah, it's like you have to knock it out of the park or forget it. So after like 3 times, and I still have another one in the can somewhere that I just even haven't released. What's the point? Who watches movies anymore anyway? So I kind of just was like, you know what? I'm just, it's not working for me. Like, and I don't think I'm a bad director. I actually do know how to direct. I'm a pretty good shooter too, but I just didn't have that, spark, or something just didn't line up right with any of this stuff. I mean, they were entertaining, and my friends would, pat me on the back and be like, whatever. But believe me, if the hits on YouTube and everything like that, it's not. There's nothing to write home about, as they say. And I worked in TV so many years, and I wanted to, backdoor my way into a whole bunch of stuff, and no one ever wanted to give me a chance. There's the reason I even made these movies, because no one wanted like to pull out the chair for me and do something. So I had to do it myself, and it was a lot of work to do it. It's a lot of work to make a movie, and the problem with movies, and when you're making it, when you do take after take, and it's something you wrote, it sounds worse every time you hear it. And you're like, did I really write this crap? So maybe it was ahead of its time. Maybe it just was not a good movie. And I tried multiple times, and what are you gonna do? It's you got to try at least. But I don't have an infinite budget. Like I would make. I think my movies, if I did them now, would be excellent. But now I don't have the cash, and I just don't have like the resources to really make, like, now I understand, good filmmaking is like good poetry. It has to have an impression. It's not telling you. You got to just kind of like it's got to be this impression of stuff. It's supposed to be impressionistic. It's not supposed to be. I've spent so much time on dialogue. I realize that dialogue is not my strength, but moments are my strength. And if I would have known that earlier, like I don't need to tell everyone everything. And that was the problem. That's the problem with filmmaking. It's just it's like they took back in the day. Silent movies were great. Then they invented talking, and they took plays and they made them into movies, and they, made everything into writing. And it's just like I don't. I think writing in movies, I think it's awful. If I want something written, I go to a stage play. I think that'd be great. But I think you could make whole movies, good movies, without people saying anything. They're just like looks and impressions and moments and just kind of like almost a gallery of stuff. You don't have to people jabbing around, blah 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 blah. It's pointless. So if I have a chance to even make any more movies, there's going to be so little dialogue, or so like I'll have people talking, but I don't want them to be communicating. I just kind of want them. I want the atmospheric feeling of something, but not really like the whole jibber jabber all the way through trying to prove something, a point, and ugh. Anyway, so yeah, that's my film story. It's kind of glossed over. But anyway, let's just see how this is.